with us as the main act of this year's Fest Afrika, Sona Jobarteh from the Gambia. Thank you, and she granted us a short interview, meet the artist session here. So please come closer and prepare your questions if you want to ask her something. But we will start with some of mine, because I don't know if everybody here knows who is Sona. She is an artist, as said, from the Gambia, but I think you have also studied in the UK. So maybe tell a bit about yourself. Where to start? Okay, I will give a little bit of background. So you come from a family of kora players, right? And so your father, your grandfather, uncles all played the kora, but you are one of the first women who started to play the kora. So what was it like growing up in an environment like that?
Hello everyone, I guess that's the first thing to say. Thank you, my first time in Finland, so thank you for welcoming me here to this country. I'm happy it's not cold. I was very scared about that, definitely, so I'm glad for that. So yes, growing up, of course, in a family, a hereditary tradition, one dates back many centuries, so I always say that it's as much as honor as it is a responsibility, I think, to be part of a legacy like this, to continue the tradition and to make your contribution. My father, my grandfather, and all the generations before me have contributed to this culture, this tradition, and I say paved the way for me to be here today. So I'm also trying to do my little part to also contribute for the next generations to come too. And
as said, you are one of the few women in West Africa who play this instrument. How was it? When did you start learning? Did you already learn as a little girl, or did you get interested later?
So I learned first of all from my older brother, who was studying from my father. So he taught me from when I was very young, around 4 or 5 years old. But it was like when I was around 17 that I started to take it more seriously and to study with my dad more intensively. And that took me really to where I am today. That's really the turning point here.
And how was it received that you as a girl took this instrument that is usually played by the men? Was there any people saying, no, you shouldn't do that, or was there any controversy about
so
that?
I mean, I've always been very sensitive to the cultural environment. So this instrument, and not just the kora, but the other instruments that belong to Mandeng, it's not just kora, the balafon, you have all these, but it have a very specific role in society. And so my way around that to gain less opposition and to gain more acceptance was to only present myself on the stage. So that was my decision. That I didn't want to put myself in the normal environment, like in naming ceremonies and all these things. I felt, I did it once, but I felt so uncomfortable. So from then I decided, let me just stick to the stage, because the stage gives you a little bit more space to change and do something different, less room for criticism, because I am not trying to force myself within a context that is not normal. So this is why I took that space for myself, and then over the years I have now created a space for myself within that.
And you're also composing your own pieces to play, so it's not just the traditional songs.
Yeah, that is very important for me, because this culture is all, you learn all the songs that everyone knows, but again I wanted to do something different. I wanted to to only play music that I have composed, I created. So original compositions is a big thing for me. I'm trying to also stretch the boundaries of the tradition, also to question what is traditional, what is modern. And for me, what is traditional and modern is something that continually changes. I often say at one time the kora was not traditional, it was modern. Now we say it's traditional because we accept it. So for me too, I'm trying to always push those boundaries and push for people to continue to be innovative within their own traditions, rather than feeling like if you want to be innovative, you have to abandon your tradition and go to something foreign. So this for me is also setting an example to young people, especially nowadays in the Gambia. You know, young people feel if they want to have a free voice, they have to go and do music that is like, you know, American hip hop and rap. And I'm also trying to say that, you know what, you can also have a voice within your own traditions. So this is also something I'm trying to encourage.
Yes, so to encourage that people would build on the tradition that they have. And I think this is maybe one of the reasons that you also created a school in the Gambia. Can you say a little bit more about the Gambia Academy, I think it's called?
I mean, most of you, I hope so, you'll be at the show and I talk a lot about it, but Gambia Academy, of course, is very much my heart and soul. It is the reason I'm doing most of the things I'm doing in my life. I mentioned at the beginning, you know, this is a hereditary tradition. So I'm here because of the generations that have gone before me. So education for me is central and important because this is what will be here when all of us are gone. You know, the next generation will be taking that. So for me, our contributions to that is essential. It's very important.
Yes, and maybe, okay, you will talk about Gambia Academy later in the show. Okay, she will save a little bit for later. So please, if you don't have your ticket yet, please go and get your ticket as soon as possible so you can hear more later. Do we have any questions from the audience? I'm sure since you all gathered here, there is somebody, please come here. Please come closer there.
Hi, okay? Yes, I'm nervous to get to know you. I admire you so much. And I've been following you since you started there. Can you hear me there? Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming and for being here, for taking your time. And sorry. I really admire your work and what you have been doing, especially as a woman. I'm starting with music. I'm playing a little bit of percussions. And it's been a struggle for me as a woman to stand out and be recognized. So, what would you recommend to keeping going, and also like to, because my objective will be like to share that. Because for me, music comes people together and builds communities. So what could be like a motivation, or like to still get along with that as a woman in the music industry?
What are your main challenges?
What are your main challenges? Like to deal with men in the industry, and also that they don't allow me to do what I'm trying to say. Like sometimes they are censoring me of what I'm trying to say, especially to women, like to defend themselves, especially where I'm coming from, which is Mexico. It's kind of a struggle.
So I mean, everybody's journey is very unique, you know, and it's hard to speak to people as if we're all the same, you know. Every culture, every journey is unique. But what I do find is dedication to your own objectives comes first. I find when you move, the world moves with you, rather than try to move the world. That mentality for me, it doesn't work. First of all, you move yourself. You become the best of what you can be. For me, I shut out from the world for many years, and I focused extremely hard on what it was that I wanted to achieve for myself. My father said something to me that was very important to me. You know, he said, you know, when I said to him, okay, can you teach me, like, I want you to teach me what you know. I was his firstborn, and for him, he accepted to teach me, right, as which is different, to be teaching your daughter instead of your son. But he told me, you know what, if I teach you everything you know, I want you to do one thing. Become the best you can be. Not a woman, not a man, just the best that you can be. And that stuck in my mind, because he said, when I close my eyes, I don't want to hear a female kora player. I just want to hear a good kora player. And so this was always the center of what I did. I don't see myself as different to anybody else. I just want to know that I can be the best that I can be. And though after then I have to think about the other aspect that actually I'm female. So now I start to create other things. But when it comes to that dedication, I don't see that. You know what I'm saying? In that sense, we are all equal. In that sense, our dedication is all equal. We must focus and not let the world distract you too much. So close off from the world is what I did. I shut down and I focus on studying and pushing myself to the limit. When I was ready, I come out. And when I come out, now we can have a different conversation. So that's my addition. But like I said, everybody's journey is different. Everybody's challenges are different. And I think there's always unique situations within every culture. But it is important to have role models. That's one thing that I've noticed, you know, because I didn't have female role models within this tradition at all. So I think if you can locate those role models, I think that's hugely empowering too, because just knowing it's possible is half of the job. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for a very nice question. I think there is another one. Please come closer because the mic is here.
Hello. Hi. Well, I have a question. I can see that your father was very good and let you to play and give you the opportunity to be the best or as good as possible. But what about generally the girls and the women in your country? Do they have opportunities to practice and to become musicians as a professional level, or are they expected to be as housewives, which is not bad, but
there's, it's a little bit more complex than just men and women. In this tradition, we also have another layer, which is the fact that this tradition belongs to the griots. So, for example, in my academy, I have both men, boys and girls learning kora, learning balafon, learning dum-dum. But there's two challenges, and actually for me, I've found within this tradition that often even the non-griot male can have more opposition than a griot female. So for myself, being a woman, okay, I'm changing, I'm doing something different by picking up the kora. I'm not being a singer, okay, I sing, but this was never what I dreamed myself to be. I was always focused on kora. But the one thing that gives me a platform is the fact that they know my line, right? My family line, Jobarteh, everybody knows this is your home, right? But what I find challenging is for the men, the young boys who are born outside of the griot families, and the expectation that they should not take part in music is actually, I find that is a huge, huge struggle. So I'm just recognizing that there are many layers to these challenges. It's not so easy just to say it's a big problem for women and men only. There's other issues, and even age, your elders and the youngers, and how you struggle to get recognized and support sometimes from the elders who don't want you to come up. These are also challenges that we have. So it's just not just gender, it's age, it's also your line, your family line. So these are all things that I face as challenges within the academy every day. But I also have young women who are a woman and a non-griot. So it's a double problem. And I would say they have a more hard job than me, because they're completely, this is totally different. But again, I always say we don't change by talking, we change by doing. And so what I've seen as powerful within this context is even me gaining the respect of the families, although they still feel nervous about some of their kids getting involved in music, when they see the demonstration of success through people who can lead by example, they also allow a little bit of leniency towards the kids also being able to do this. So we are seeing change, but change happens slowly and systematically. So we are seeing those progresses slowly, yes.
Thank you. I think we can have one more question if there is something. Want to ask?
Thank you. I have a question. For me, my question is about the kora. I don't know if my voice is audible. My question about the kora. So is the kora exclusively Gambian, or it's an instrument that has been played around Africa for many years? Because when I see you play the kora, I've watched your videos. It resembles a certain instrument, like where I've come from, like from Kenya. It resembles an instrument called the nyatiti. So I wanted to ask you, like, is it exclusively a Gambian instrument, or is it like an African instrument? You know?
So I think there are Gambians here tonight, right? I mean, but here also, I like to answer these kinds of questions honestly. And although, of course, I'm very patriotic in the sense of Gambia, but I also like to remind everybody that these instruments and these traditions predate the forced borders that were forced on Africa. Gambia is a fake creation by the colonialism, right? This whole area was one people, Mandeng. If you go back in history, in Mali, in Senegal, in Gambia, in Guinea-Bissau, the same language, same people, same instruments, same culture. Then came a recent history, the carving up of Africa into all of these multiple countries, across borders, across people, bloodlines, and histories and cultures. And all of a sudden, we are forced to create a new identity for ourselves, to say we are Gambian. So this is something I speak about often, even in Gambia, when people talk about the Senegalese versus the Gambia. I say, you know what? This is the same story. We cannot talk about Gambia without talking about Mali, because all of us are Mandeng. We speak the same languages. We understand each other. We know the same songs. So I would say, no, it's not exclusively Gambian. It's exclusively Mandeng. And Mandeng goes across all of these borders. We see the same people. If we want to talk about the Wolof, the same thing, right? So let us identify our own borders, because those borders still exist. If you go to Gambia, we all know the Mandinkas, we all know the Jolas, we all know the Wolofs, you know, but at the same time, there also has to be an understanding that we have to work collectively within our differences. So in the sense of Kora, yes, it has a history, it has an evolution. You can see commonalities even with, if you look at, I don't know if you know, but in the same region, or much ancient instrument, you have like the Simbi, or you have the bolong, or you have the donsongoni. These are instruments that are far older than the kora. Kora is like a baby. It was only a couple of 100 years ago, right? Balafon on these instruments is like 700, 800, 900 years going back in history. And this is the history that we are taking and putting onto these new instruments. But we see that people move, you know, people don't stay in one place in Africa. If we're going back in history, you see people migrated all over the continent, and they took their traditions with them. So things evolve, you know what I'm saying? So these evolve. So I don't like to get into conversations where we say this is Gambian, this is Senegalese, this is Malian, because for me that enters into a mentality that is not truthful for our own cultures and our own traditions. Yeah, but thank you so much for the question. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This also connects, I don't know who of you were here earlier, there was another artist discussion about Africa is not a country, but also in a sense that the borders that are there now are not the borders that were there before. But I think it's time for you to get to sound check. So please come tonight. Oh, there is a present for you from Macoumba Ndiaye. Yeah, he's here. He has an exhibition right here on the other side. I don't know if you will have time to get there. So he wanted to give a present.
By the name of myself, Macoumba from Senegal, artist from Senegal, and by the name of First Africa, I would like to give you this one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been drawing that last night. So I didn't, just to say that how Tampere can take care of them people, and that was the idea of this guy.
Wow, lovely.
Yes, and this is Menard Mponda, the director of the festival. And I'm one of the biggest fans. I've been following you since very, 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 very long time. I am a friend of your drama, Mamadou Sarr. We know each other since the Senegal. And then I wanted since long time for you to come. I've been asking about when, and now is the time. So congratulations, and Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Sona. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. So everybody, at 8, the doors open at 8. Sona will be on stage at 10.